Hey guys, thanks for watching. Today I'm going to show you how I made this nativity scene cake. First I have all my cake layers filled and stacked, then I'm just piping in some buttercream in all the bigger gaps. You want to fill in all those holes to make your crumb coat. The point of a crumb coat is to just lock in all the crumbs so you don't see those on the outside of your cake. Then after all the frosting is on there, I'm just going to scrape it off and try and make it as straight as possible with my bench scraper. Okay, so what I'm doing here is inserting a dowel in the middle of the cake, and I'm going to put some weight on top of it, and what that'll do is push all the air up the top of the cake and out that hole instead of pushing the sides of the cake and creating a bulge around the outside of your cake. Here I'm just doing another thin layer of buttercream all over the cake. I feel like the easiest way to get the frosting onto the side of the cake is using a piping bag, so that's what I'm doing here. Then just smoothing it all out with my spatula, and again, just trying to make it as straight as possible. Then I'm using my bench scraper to scrape off the excess, and then you can see all the divots and holes where you need to apply more frosting. Now that my cake is straight for the most part, I'm going to pop it in the freezer for 5 minutes. Now that it's out of the freezer, I'm just adding little touch-ups on little spots that I see that needed to be fixed. To get my sharp edge around the top of the cake, I just have my cake slightly frozen and my knife, it's just a regular steak knife, and I just cut the lip of the buttercream off the top of the cake. Now I'm just shaving parts of the cake where it might be higher than other spots to make it a little bit more level. Now I have one more layer of frosting to put on this cake, so I'm going to put it in the refrigerator while I color the frosting. I'm going to do the same thing that I did with the white frosting. I'm putting it on with my piping bag, and then I'm going to smooth it all out. Having a bench scraper is an absolute must for me in order to get my sides to look like this. I scrape the cake a lot in order to get the smooth sides, and then you just keep scraping and putting that excess frosting that you scraped off into the little cracks and crevices that you still see. Also want to point out that always try to have a lip at the top of the cake. You can see right there that there's not a lip, and I need to put more frosting there. So when I cut my frosting off the top of it, it'll have that sharp edge. Going really slow helps get out all those air bubbles you see on the cake. Now I'm going to put the cake back in the freezer for 5 minutes so I can put some excess frosting around the edge of the cake. That gives me that extra lip that I want. Now that my sides are exactly how I want them, I'm going to put the cake in the freezer for 5 minutes. And now I'm cutting off the top lip, and it will give me that really sharp edge. And now finally, I'm finished frosting this cake. So now I want to make this cake look kind of like a Starry Night. So I just took some white paint, dipped my paintbrush in it, and splattered it all over the cake. And when I say white paint, I mean white food coloring. So now I use some sugar sheets that I bought from Walmart, and I'm cutting everything out to look like the baby in the manger scene. This was the first time I used the sugar sheets. I'm not really sure how I liked it, but it worked for this project. Here, I'm just trying to piece some things together. The sheets weren't big enough for what I wanted, so I had to make do. So now all you need to do is peel the clear piece off the sugar sheet and press it onto the cake, and it's supposed to just stay there like that. It isn't as clean as I would have liked it to be, but like I said before, it ended up working. It was really hard to cut this out with my scissors. I should have probably just taken the clear plastic off the top of it and cut it with my X-Acto knife like I would have done with black fondant. After I had them on there, I cut out the star and put the star on there, and that was it. It was done. I hope you liked watching this video, and please subscribe below.